Hello and welcome everyone. All right, so this is NVIDIA RTX 6000 Blackwell Workstation GPU, the second one that I have, and let me unbox this as well. And then we will put this in our rig and we will see how both the GPUs perform together. So we have the specs already written, so be careful with this knife. This is a very, very sharp knife. I'm gonna open it from the other side. Um, All right, keeping the knife aside, let's take the plastic off over here, unbox this, and let's take a look at the GPU, which is inside here. So let's open this up, and there is the RTX 6000 Blackwell GPU. Whoa, okay, all right. Amazing. So, I cannot wait to put this inside the rig. The other GPU, it is already here. GPU number one, RTX 6000 Pro, and GPU number two. So, in the previous video, when I was opening this, I could see that it said, please make sure if the seal isn't broken, void isn't appearing before opening the bag. So we just want to make sure that there is no void or nothing written over here. And as soon as you open the seal, right? And this is why I wanted to do this second video over here. If you open the seal, you will see something called void. So let me actually do that. I'm going to show you what it looks like once the seal is open versus once the seal is not open, right? So once you open the seal, the plastic starts saying void. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is this void in the background underneath the yellow written all over it. And you can see the void and stuff, like something in the background written over there. But as soon as you open it, it shows up. It doesn't show up right here, right? So if you see in the brand new packaging, that does not show up over there like that. There is no void, no nothing. As soon as I'll start ripping it, right, you see the void will start showing up over there. Now the void shows up, which is absolutely amazing. They figured out a way to let you know whether the packaging has been opened or not. Now you can see through void from the yellow sticker over here. Very, very, very smart. So if somebody has opened it and attempted to reseal it, then you will start seeing the words void that are now being shown over here. Very simple mechanical way to fix people from not opening it, but it is one way to find out if your Blackwell GPU was open and if somebody had messed with it or not. I mean, yeah, there are ways to get around everything in this world, but at least you have one way to figure out whether your GPU was sealed and never opened before. Something that the manufacturer has done that I was not expecting them to do. So this is the GPU, the second GPU, and now I take both of these and put it into my AI rig. All right, everyone. So I have plugged in the GPUs, the two NVIDIA Blackwell 6000 GPUs, and this is the first boot. And given that I already had the correct drivers for NVIDIA 5090, I'm assuming that this will work out of the box without me having to mess with any drivers over here. So let's see, let's find out. I have Ubuntu 2404 as you have already seen in my previous videos. And I'm hoping that this will work out of the box. I'm using GLKVM over here, and looks like it is working. It looks like it is working. Whoa, there you go. So there is a graphical user interface over here, RGUI. The very first thing that I want to do is let's do the NVIDIA SMI to see if both of them were detected or not. And boom, perfect. So there we have it. Both NVIDIA RTX Pro 6000, 96 gigs of VRAM on both of them. This is an amazing amount of video RAM that I have right now on this. I I do not know what all will I do with it, but let's, start doing some inferencing right away. So before I start, let me just give you a quick overview if you do not know what my system specifications are. So this is an Asus WSW Pro 790 Sage motherboard. It has octa channel RAM. It has 512 gigs of DDR5 RAM in it, clocked at 4800 megahertz. And this is an overclockable motherboard. Yes, it's an overclockable motherboard. And it's rare, but it is an amazing motherboard that I have. 56 cores, 112 threads on a 8480 plus clone. So this is an engineering sample from NVIDIA. Sorry, engineering sample from Intel. And it is called QYFS, if I'm not wrong. And I'll leave the specifications in the video's description over here. But absolute beast of a processor. It is Intel Xeon 4th generation Sapphire Rapids processor. 56 cores, 112 threads gives me a ton of power, AMX enabled power. So it does do AVX 512 and the previous algorithms as well on top of it. It also supports AMX, which is crucial for some of the things that we do over here with AI inferencing. Okay, so all that about my system specifications, along with these two NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, I have a lot of power. And I want to use it for doing some inferencing using two main frameworks. The biggest one that I want to use is Llama.cpp and a clone of Llama.cpp, right? So, which is iklama.cpp, which definitely performs way better than Llama.cpp in most of the use cases that I've seen. And I want to try with Ollama as well. So with these two frameworks, let's see how does this Blackwell GPU performs. What I want to do, number one, is offload all of the Qwen model on the GPU, the Qwen 3 235 billion parameter Q4KM model on the GPU and see how that runs. And I do not have any, configuration for that yet. Should be pretty straightforward by running and offloading the whole model. And that's what I'm going to do. So let's do that first on the Q4KM directly on llama.cpp. So this is the script that I have over here with me. I'm going to make a copy of this and I'll make it for our. So we do not need to offload individual layers because all layers will be offloaded to our GPU, all the 93 layers. I don't think I need to even do override tensors over here. I think just this would be more than sufficient, right? So let's just copy this. Both devices 0 and 1 will be targeted over here. So both 0 and 1. And we'll just go ahead and go to our llama.cpp folder. And because I have already built it before earlier today, I'm not going to pull that again and build it again today. I'm just going to run this directly over here. I will also open NVTop for us to see so that we can see how much amount of model is loaded. So model first loads into the RAM and then it gets offloaded on the GPU. So let's see if we load the model to the RAM. And I hope this is the right command to throw all the layers on the GPU, right? So NGL, I think it has 93 layers. So setting it at 100 doesn't hurt. It should theoretically throw all the layers on the GPU now, which is what I'm hoping for. So let's see. So the model will be read first in the host memory. So it'll go up to like 135, 40. I think that's what the model size is. And then it will offload everything onto the GPU. And if this command doesn't work, then we will bring back the OT command and we will target 0 to, let's say, 46 or 47 on CUDA 0 and 48 to 93 on CUDA 1 after that. So we'll do that, but hopefully this will work out of the box for us and we won't have to do the manual allocation of these blocks and the layers for the GPU. So all the, okay, there we go. The model is being loaded on the GPU. Whoa. Okay, let's take a look. 70 gigs and 67 gigs. It is still loading. It continues to load. And the whole model, wow, the whole model is loaded onto the GPU now. Okay, let's go ahead and start doing some inferencing. And you see, I have 70K of context length. I don't know why I have this size over here. Do not ask me why. I don't recall why I had chosen 73,728 number over here. I'll probably switch it back to 65K. I may be experimenting with something in the previous 5090 setup, but it is what it is. Okay, let's go ahead and let's open our Open Web UI, which is already configured to be pointed to Llama.cpp. And let's go ahead. Let's start a brand new chat and let's see. Hey, how are you doing? And let's also keep an eye on the amount of power it is. Wow, okay, that was very fast. Let's go ahead and see the statistics. 58 tokens per second, quite fast over here for a Qwen 3 to 35 billion parameter model. You know what? That isn't good enough. So what we'll have to do is find me a recipe for mango ice cream. And what we'll do over here is just copy a ton of content that's on this page. So Control A, whoops. We go over here, Control A, C. And I'm gonna just paste it over here. Control V, and let's see what does the model do. And over here, we're gonna take a look at the thinking process, which is going pretty fast. I just want to throw a ton of context on the model and then see if it can perform any better with a lot of context in the model. Okay, all right. So 50 tokens per second and 1318 tokens per second for the prompt processing time. So the prompt evaluation time, 1300 tokens per second. That is awesome. And 50 tokens per second for generation time. That is pretty good. Okay, I wanna see, let me poison the very first prompt over here. So it puts everything back into the prompt, right? So I'm gonna do a save over here. Now I have poisoned the whole thing and I will say, build a snake game based on this above context. And let's see what it comes up with. So it is putting all the tokens. Wow, it has already processed the prompts. It has processed the prompts. Wow. Okay. All right. So this is really amazing. This is really amazing. The the power that we have. And let me take a look at my Casa TP-Link Casa switch that is attached to it, so I can tell you exactly how much power it is consuming right now. So it is at 967 watts of power right now, the whole rig, and that is because even the CPU is working a little bit over here, not as much though. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at the GPUs. So both the GPUs are working at 300 watts each. It's done. It's done writing the code. Okay. So it was a Python code that I don't like. I'm going to ask it. I wanted the whole code to be in a self-contained HTML file. Make it pretty and really attractive. All right. And let's see what it does now. It will attempt to make an HTML file because it's just more easier and convenient to play it using an HTML file versus running a Python code. So let's see. I'll have it generate. And while it is generating, I'm going to take a look at the power again. So it is at 973 watts. And I can see that NVIDIA-SMI is reporting around 300 watts each. So about 300 watts of power is unaccounted for. Right, so it is maybe the CPU, RAM, and everything else is using the remaining of the power, but it is consuming significant amount of power for sure. And I do have, and I'll put a video of how the rig is set up right now. So I do have industrial grade Noctua 1700 RPM fans, which does make a lot of noise, and that's why it is in the basement, but it provides a perfect airflow for this rig. So there is no problem with the wow, the game's already ready over here. Okay. Okay, all right. So let's see. How is it a mango game? Mango snake game, because that is a mango over there. Okay, I am gonna. Oh, I lost. Okay, all right. Well, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good to me. And let's see the number of tokens per second that were generated over here. So let's take a look at that too. So it worked with 43 tokens per second and 1236 tokens per second for prompt processing. Wow. Two NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs absolutely running like a beast for providing an insane amount of power for Qwen 235 billion parameter model with over 65K of context length over here. Um, we can actually see how much of context it'll use before the GPU kind of crashes. So let's throw more context length over here. And the best way to do that would be, let's find out what is 128K of context. So 1024 times 128, which is 131 something, right? 131072. And I'm pretty sure it won't be able to handle that. 072. And we will attempt to run this on the server with, whoops, with 131072 context length over here. And let's see. It should not be able to load that much of context is what I'm assuming, but we'll find out. If it can do 128K of context, I'd be surprised. So already 70 gigs. Whoa. It it still has enough RAM left over after putting it at 128K of context. Okay, all right. I stand corrected. You win GPU. Of course, I mean, wow, this has a ton of context that I can run with this. And this is the special version of Qwen 235 billion parameter model that is meant for the higher context length. So if you do want to do this, you have to grab the 128K version of this Qwen model. If you choose the lower version of the Qwen model, like the one that does not specify 128K in it, then you cap out at 40K. So even though you will attempt to run it at 131K context size, it will cap at 40K of context and give up. So the way to grab the correct model is if you go to unslots Qwen 235B model. So this is the regular Onslaught Qwen 3 235B A22, right? This does not say 128K in it. But if you find the one that does say 128K, you see there's another one that says 128K. This is the version that you want if you are running it at a higher context length. And that's the Q4KM version that I have. And looks like it, by the looks of it, I can probably go slightly up, maybe Q5 or Q6 over here with the two Blackwells that I have now. Okay. Now that is with Llama.cpp for this model. Let's, go ahead and try the DeepSeek R1 model and see how many layers we can offload to the Blackwell GPU. Of course, we cannot offload all of the layers to the Blackwell GPU, but we will attempt to offload as many as we can. And the way to do that would be for the DeepSeek model. Let me come down over here and I'll create it at the very bottom. So this one is for 2 times NVIDIA 6000 Pro. Okay, all right. So what we're gonna do is we'll load maybe, so I'll actually need something like this now because I should be able to load more than one layer over here, right? So I'm gonna be using so let's push it a little bit in. And okay, so the way to configure this command would be what this one says is that offload 0 to 9 and 1 to 5. So let's also do 1 to 9 over here. And let's do 2 0 to 9 and 3 0 to 9 also, all on the GPU. So we're gonna be throwing these models on the GPU. Okay, so let's clear out the Qwen 3. And we are gonna run DeepSeek R1 model now on Llama.cpp. Let's do that. Again, we'll have the same approach. We'll take a look at our NVIDIA nvtop command, and you see that it is first going to load the model in the system RAM. So it is slowly and slowly putting it on the RAM. So you can see it will go all the way up to 400 gigabytes, so close to that number, and then it will start offloading on the GPU. So we'll just wait for this to offload everything onto the system RAM first. And then we'll also actually think about modifying it. So 15 or 20, so there are total of 63 layers. And total of 63 layers correspond to approximately 400 gigs, right? And this is a very high level, estimation that I'm doing. So even though this won't be exactly correct, let's do some high level math so we have some kind of backing to our logic over here, right? So we will do at a very high level, 400 divided by 63, even though this math is very, very, very high level. Let's see. So close to 6 gigabytes for one layer. So 60 gigabytes for 10 layers. And we are offloading 20 layers right now to each GPU. And I'm pretty sure it is not 6 gigabytes. It's close to maybe like 3 or 4 gigabytes per layer over here. And we'll find out. So when we offload 20 layers, then how does the RAM utilization looks like? And based on that, we will do some math again and try to offload back some more. I think I'm pretty sure that we can offload close to 25 layers each on each GPU, if not more. And then we can find out how the model is performing. But it will be really interesting to see whether the system is able to sustain that much amount of load, given that both CPU and GPU will be working hard with this approach. Because in the last Qwen 3 model, it was only the GPU that was working hard. But in this model now, both CPU and GPU will be working over here. But what I've noticed is that once we put all the experts on the CPU, at that time, CPU works harder than the GPU, and we may not see 250 or 300 watts of GPU consumption over there. But we'll find out, only time will tell. So let's have this model loaded first. So we are getting close, 326, 328. Let's have the model loaded onto the RAM and have it offloaded onto the GPU after that, and then see if we want to do more offloading or not. So right now we can see that we are offloading 40 layers out of 63. That's actually is a lot. Maybe this may not load either. We'll find out. This still may crash, because there are total of 63 layers, right? And that corresponds to, oh yeah, this may not even work. Let's see. Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay. All right. So let's reduce 5 each. So let's make it 4, and let's make this 4. And let's go back over here. Control C, Control V. And next time around, the model will load faster too. Because it is already in the RAM, it has cached everything. So you can see it is going up faster. So it will just pick up very quickly. So this is where you can do all the experimentation. Like as long as you load it once, and even though the model crashes, you can reduce the number of layers and then start loading them back again. So it won't take the same amount of time like what it was taking earlier when it was loading the first time around from the SSD to RAM. Okay, so let's see, 270, 279, so close to 400 when it goes, then it will start offloading it over here. Okay, so this is the time when it will start offloading, somewhere around here. When you'll see these dots coming up over here. 276. Oh, it still failed. It still failed. Okay, out of memory. Okay, all right. So we may have to still make it a little bit lesser. So let's do 0 to 9. Maybe we are getting too ambitious. Maybe only 10 layers can be supported over here. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's offload 10 layers each and then see. Yeah, I think we are getting too ambitious. This card is good, but it is not as good as we think it is. Okay, 10 layers each, so 20 each. And if the original calculation was about right, then 6 times 10 is 60. So that should at least give us some headroom to load the model in the GPU. So looks like what the original calculation was about right. Yeah, 62, 76. So let's Let's add a little bit more over here because we are greedy. So let's do um, a little bit more. So we'll do 1 and 0 to 2 more. And for the second GPU, we will do um, 2, so 20 to 29, and then 30 to 32, right? So this should give us a little bit more VRAM utilization. Okay. And also, if you see, I have 81K context over here. I don't know why that random number. So I have to kind of dial that one back down to maybe 65K or something more reasonable. But let's see. So 72 and 87, which is reasonable. Let's see if it sustains. 81 and 95. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So you know what? Let's run some inferencing first, and then let's see what happens. So this time around, what we'll do is we'll go back over here and choose our DeepSeek R1 model. And we'll send this same command back. And I'll keep an eye because I think that at this point of time, the system may draw a ton of power, even though it is connected to a 16 watts of power supply. In my basement, the circuit breaker can trip with that much amount of power. So I'm going to click on regenerate and take a look at the energy use and then let you guys know what happens if it does something funny. So, okay, it is at 537 watts of power consumption from wall right now, 645. So, which is okay, decent, 624. All right. Let's see what the server is doing. Server is processing the prompts, which is not bad. So, almost done. So, prompt processing is done, which is great. And it is at 600 watts of power, which is very interesting. It is consuming less power than last time. So when the GPUs are not taking up all the load, at that point of time, it is not consuming a ton of power. Okay, there we go. There's a power spike. So looks like CPU has kicked into now. There it is. So we have 835 watts of power being drawn from the wall. Let's take a look, the generation speed over here. Oh, so the thinking process is already done. That was a little fast. Okay. And let's see. The token generation speed is decent. Right, I can see it is not as fast, not crazy fast. I mean, of course, because part of the model is still running from the CPU over here. So, of course, it is not as fast as completely offloaded on the GPU. But this is still running pretty decent. So we'll find out the actual statistics once the model is done running completely on this. So you can see uh, 6,000% CPU utilization, of course, because all the 56 cores are actually working hard over here. And these two GPUs are also working decently hard. You see only 17, 16, and 7% utilization and all that. So it is not as much of utilization as we were seeing when the whole model was offloaded on the GPU. Also, the power usage isn't going beyond 830, 840 watts. So that is also good. But if you ask me, unless and until you offload the whole model on the GPU, there isn't much of a difference over here that I'm seeing, that I'm visualizing. So what else I'll do is right after this, I'll go and try to get the IK underscore llama.cpp, and that model, how does that server, how does that perform over here? Because I'm really interested in seeing how would that particular variant of llama.cpp perform. So I'm going to give this a little bit of time and have this game generated over here, because I do want to see how DeepSeek produces this game as compared to how our other Qwen 3235B had done. Okay, and only once this is done generating it is when we'll actually see the statistics on the server too. So we'll have to wait for that as well. So let's have this also open over here. All right. It did actually process the prompts pretty fast. So we had about 5,000 tokens to process in the prompt, and that was done very fast. So I mean, credit where credit is due. Even though it is a huge model, 675 billion parameter model, it does offloading the layers onto the GPU does help over here. Now, I also have two NVIDIA 5090s that I have not hooked up to this rig yet, because I just wanted to see how this rig will perform without any other GPUs in it, with just two Blackwell 6000 Pro GPUs. And the idea is to move this rig away to a place where I'll have enough power, which actually is my garage. So in my garage, I have sufficient amount of power, dedicated power line that can power up to 2000 watts of raw power over there. So I'm gonna be using that in the garage and probably moving this over to garage to have it plugged in adequately over there. Okay, so it is still writing it. DeepSeek does like to write some code, some good amount of code. And actually, in my preference, I have seen that Qwen 3 writes, and this is debatable, but Qwen 3, 235 billion parameter, writes better code for me as compared to DeepSeek in all the use cases that I have. And yes, DeepSeek does have more knowledge, but for whatever reason, Qwen 3 is just an amazing coder, even though it is a smaller model. Okay, so let's see. By the looks of it, I can see it is close to about 17 or 18 tokens per second. It could be a little faster or slower, but I'm close to about let's say 17 tokens per second is what it looks like over here to me. But we'll find out. We'll find out. I should not be too far off. Okay, so it should be getting close. It's placing the food. It has written most of the code over there. It's finishing up the JavaScript now. And draw the game. Okay, all right. All right. Um, let's see. It is going to take its sweet time to write all the code that it can. And of course, I had to ask it to write a full code, plus also have something related to Mango with the snake game combined. So of course, it is trying to do something over here with the Mango and using its own intelligence. Well, Quen made a very simple mango game. So Quen just had a mango snake. So it was a regular snake with a mango, potentially the yellow looking mango over there. That was supposed to be a mango snake game. So very trivial change that it did to it. Just some heading and having a mango in the user interface. But let's see what DeepSeek comes up with, because it is apparently writing a bigger piece of code as compared to our Quen model. So let's see. I think it's putting some more features in too. I can already see some pause, resume, and all those features that it's trying to build in. And hopefully it is a functional game. After writing all this amount of code, if it doesn't really work, then that would be a shame. Because I'm not going to go correct it right now. All right. And I'm mostly interested in seeing the statistics. So if DeepSeek, you can close it up now so that we can go ahead and see some statistics over here, then that would be really nice. Another function. Okay, all right. Add the event listener for click. Okay. Start button, update button. Okay. I think this code is going to be long now. Okay. We'll just wait now. Now that we have waited for this long, it'll be blasphemy to click stop. So let's just wait. And at least it is not doing 10 tokens per second. It is definitely faster than that. So yeah, I do not like vibe coding. This is one of the reasons I do not like vibe coding. Okay, there we go. At least the game is done. Looks pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna be downloading this and then running it in a different window because I don't think this particular window is doing justice over here. But before we run the game, we'll see some statistics. So I wanted to finish and stop, and then we will see what the statistics are. Perfect. Okay. Now, for the statistics, only 12 tokens per second. Wow, that is not good. That is not good at all because I've been able to do more than 12 tokens per second using just 5090s and 4090s. So I don't know why it is taking that isn't impressive at all. So 100 tokens per second for prompt evaluation time is also just okay. It is just okay. It is not like super impressive. So I do not know. I'm not impressed with DeepSeek's performance on this, and it's not of DeepSeek's fault, but I mean, yeah, of course. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's download this particular artifact over here, which what we will do is download, and we will open this particular file in Firefox in a separate window. And this is, wow, this is a pretty cool looking snake game, if nothing else. It looks gorgeous. That is for sure. Definitely looks gorgeous. Well, if you wanted to ever play a mango snake game, then this is your mango snake game that you had always wanted to play. And I really want to play this game, so I'm sorry if you guys are watching me play and if you're still here. But till I die, you guys are stuck with me over here. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Okay, perfect. So, and then they have certain other things over here, speed and these controls over here. Okay. Oh, there was a pause, play, resume, and to adjust speed. It did build in some features. All right. So yeah, that is pretty cool. Okay, all right. I think I'll say that this game was a better version of the game for sure. So even though Qwen was faster to build the game, DeepSeek was definitely better at the game itself. All right. So let's do a couple other things. We'll go run the same model. Well, actually, let me try the IQ3 version of the model on uh, iklama.cpp. because I definitely want to see how would this model perform on iklama.cpp. And I'm only going to do 32K. Yeah, it's fine. We are already switching the model to IQ3 KR4 instead of Q4KM. Instead of Q4KM, we are going to do IQ3. So we're already switching the model, so that's okay. What I'm going to do, however, is copy the... I'll copy the final, no, not on the Qwen, but on the DeepSeek, the final number of layers that we offloaded, so we don't have to redo all that. So we'll copy these two attributes and we will put it in our IQ3 right there at the very bottom over here. Right, so let's just double check that we are doing it on the right place. I know I copied the 32K version of it, but if I did not, that's okay too. So what I'm going to do is just take this, Control V this over here, copy this whole thing, and paste this over here. Okay, and now this will take the model, and I will be able to offload more now because this is a smaller model over here, right? So I should be able to at least theoretically offload more attributes or more layers on the GPU. So one thing to note now is that this is not in the same folder that we have to run this. So this will be in a different IK_Llama folder. And this command will only execute on this iklama folder. Okay, so what does it say? Failed to load the model. This model does not exist over here. How is that possible? Let's do. So that model isn't there anymore. So let's see. I may have moved it. Let's see. Is it in the backup over here? It is here. So I'm not sure why isn't it found. So let me just do a pwd and just copy it, close it, and paste the location over here again. Oh, so it is loaded at backup too. So it looks like once I rebooted, it just switched to back. I'll fix that mapping later in fstab, but for now I'll just run this right now the way it is. So I'll show you what happened in a second. So because I have left it at the automatic load of this particular drive, instead of loading it at the correct backup mount, it has loaded it at backup too. So I'll have to just fix my fstab and make sure. Yeah, I'll do that later. I don't have to do it right now. But for the purpose of this video, we should be able to move forward with the correct location of the model over here. Okay, and we'll do the same. Let's take a look over here. The first load of the model will take some time. It is close to, let's see the size of the model again. This is close to 323 gigs, right? So 323 gigs, and we are at 100 gigs. So it will take a little bit of time for it to load into the system RAM. And then, of course, it will offload into the GPU. And the very first test that we are doing is with 15 layers each loaded into the GPU, right? So 0 to 9, and then 10 to 15, and then 20 to 29, and then 30 to 35. So those are the layers that are being offloaded to CUDA 0 and 1. And we will then do some experimentation after that. And of course, it is an IQ3. And if you want to see where this model is, so let me show you that. So this is the model Uber Garm. I think his name is John. Yeah. And you can come to this UberGram DeepSeek R10528 GGUF on Hugging Face. And in the files and versions, this is the IQ3 KR4 version of the model. I also have his IQ4 KSR4 too, and we'll take a look at that too as well, but this is the one that I'm actually running right now. Okay, and it is getting close to 300. So let's stay over here. Let's take a look. It should start offloading very soon. Okay, there we go. It is very close, 89, and I'm worried that it may crash because it is so close, 89. Would it survive? Let's see. Let's see. It did not. It did not. So we'll have to reduce a couple of layers and then it should work. So it was struggling in CUDA 0. So you know what? I think we'll just reduce from CUDA 0. And let's see if that works for us, because CUDA 1 was fine. It was the second CUDA that was having the problem. But sometimes it refers to CUDA 0 as CUDA 1 and CUDA 1 as CUDA 0, and that's some problem that my system has. So we'll find out. Yeah, it is doing it. So we'll actually have to flip it. It's CUDA 1 is CUDA 0 and CUDA 0 is CUDA 1. So that's all right. We'll fix it. Like you see how CUDA 0 is saying that it has 68 because we have reduced one layer, but we have indeed reduced it from CUDA 1. So what we'll do is we'll put that back. Actually, we'll make it as 6 and we'll make this as 4 over here. And we'll see what happens. Okay, we are back over here. Okay, now this is even. Okay, so 84 and 78, and then it will slowly and slowly catch up. 92 and 87, and we are there. Perfect. Okay, so looks like I can potentially put one more layer on this one. So let me actually do that. So we have 0 to 6. I'm going to do 0 to 7 over here and see if it can sustain that, and if not, we'll revert it to 6. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it will be able to handle one more layer on it. So this is a good thing that once you have loaded the model once, even though it crashes, it lets you experiment, by playing around with the layers here and there and see if you can offload one or two more layers on each GPU or not. All right, start offloading. 84 and 83. So this looks like a more even number to me. And then they both should be close to 92, 93 at the very end, or 94 at the very end. Yep, perfect. Perfect. This is awesome. Okay, so now 92 each is on the GPU and 149 gigs is on the system RAM. So let's ask a simple question before asking it to code a snake game, because I want to see something simple before I go on asking it. Oh yeah, we have a different model now. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's ask it a simple question first. And let me take a look at, so we have 812 watts of power from the wall that we are consuming right now. And the speed is decent, but I'm not going to be guessing it anymore because I was totally wrong last time around. It does look like it is 15 plus for sure now, but I don't want to guess anymore because 17 plus turned out to be a 12. So it does look fast though. It does look fast. But nothing beats the fully loaded model on the GPU like Qwen 3. So even though I thought it is a simpler message, show me a code snippet of a website sticky header in CSS and JavaScript, such a simple thing to do. And DeepSeek still found a way to overthink this. No, I don't want 15 different examples. Just show me a simple one so I can look at the server statistics. That's it. That's all I want to do. All right, we'll wait. Event listener? We don't. Okay. All right. Thank you. Wow, DeepSeek. Okay, let's take a look at the question again. Was I clear? Show me a code snippet of website's sticky header in CSS and JavaScript, right? I think it was very clear. Okay, all right. It is starting to write now. With all the thinking that it has done, let's see what kind of code it produces at the end. Okay, all right. We are getting close. We are getting close to a simple CSS, JavaScript, sticky header implementation by DeepSeek. Okay, if I were to guess, this definitely looks like 17 to me, but I don't want to say that anymore. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, that kind of works. It is a little bouncy also, which is good. It is definitely sticky because it is staying over there. When the user scroll past 100 pixels, the JavaScript adds the sticky class. Okay, I see it. I see. It's only when I scroll up beyond a certain limit, it is adding that class, and that's why it is sticky. Makes sense. That's nice. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at the speed over here. So 15 tokens per second generation speed. That is decent. That is decent. Okay, so I can live with this. 15 tokens per second is better. Is it worth two NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs? No, no, for sure not. But it is better. It is good. You know what? Let's go back and see if it can write the Mango code and how fast can it write the Mango code. So we are going to be sending around 5,000 tokens as prompt over here. And let's see. Oh yeah, we have to assign the model over here. And let's see how long does it take to actually do the prompt processing. So over here, we'll keep an eye over here and let's see how long it takes for the prompt processing. So there comes a time that you are very GPU hungry. The reason why I'm making this video is also so that you guys would know how much GPU hungry do you want to be? How much VRAM hungry do you want to be? Is it actually worth having hundreds of gigs of VRAM in the system? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you are better off having just two NVIDIA 5090s or four NVIDIA 4090s, right? Or four NVIDIA 3090s. Maybe that is good enough too. I have seen offloading close to 100 gigs is sometimes sufficient. So even for DeepSeek model or for our Qwen model, for the Qwen model, I've noticed that when I had two NVIDIA 5090s and two NVIDIA 4090s in that rig, it was about 50 tokens per second of prompt generation time. Sorry, 30, 29, 30 tokens per second for prompt generation time, and close to 600 tokens per second to 800 tokens per second also, I believe, for prompt evaluation time in that range. So I think that is the sweet spot. 600 is the sweet spot, 6 to 800 tokens per second for prompt evaluation time for me, right? Everyone's use case is different. For me, that is the sweet spot for me. Now, also Qwen 3 models of the 235 billion parameter model is the one that I'm talking about, is what actually works the best for me too. So in my use cases, I use Qwen 3 more often than DeepSeek R10528. And maybe my bias comes from the speed too. The speed of the Qwen 3 models is way more than the speed of the DeepSeek R10528 model. So, and the results for the Qwen are sometimes just as good, if not better for me. It does the instruction following very good. I can do 128K of tokens with Qwen 3 model. And yes, sometimes it loses the context here and there. But for most of the times, it is actually doing pretty good instruction following throughout. Its thinking mode is very decent. It's very good. And I am just a big fan of these Qwen 3 235 billion parameter models over here. Having two Blackwell GPUs, having the ability of loading the whole Qwen 3 model in the Blackwell GPUs, it's also something that I would want to use because I get 1200 tokens that are processed by the prompt, and then about 50 tokens per second for generation speed for this Qwen model. And that's absolutely insane. That's absolutely amazing for me. Now, does it come with a cost? Yes, it of course does come with a cost. If you want to build this machine that I have with me right now, without waiting and accumulating all the parts, I think this will cost you upwards of 20 grands, if not more, maybe 25-ish right now, which is a car. It is a car, but at the same time, it will let you have all your AI local and private. And maybe that is not what you want. Maybe you are okay with using the APIs, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe you are okay with 25090s, it's because that is a very good contender over here. The prices for 5090s are dropping also right now. So you may want to just get 2 or 3 5090s, put them in a rig, and then you can build this system with about 100 gigs of VRAM or 96 gigs of VRAM for close to 10K. And that would be a very, very potent system using Llama.cpp offloading uh, half of the layers of Qwen 3 models on it is a very good system too. The biggest thing that I've noticed is privacy. With all these models, having it run locally and processing a lot of information locally for me is the biggest thing why I build these rigs and I keep them local. So that's the long story over here. Um, we'll let this particular prompt finish processing. It has definitely given it a nice mango look to the frame already, so that is on the right track over here. And I wanted to see if throwing more prompts in the context is going to slow down the model or not, because that is what caused the Q4KM to get slowed down and bogged down with 12 tokens per second. But this looks like it is still decent. It looks like it is doing close to the same speed as last time. And last time around, it was 14.5 tokens per second. But not going to guess anymore. We'll just find out at the very end. I do like the color. I do like how it has put this nice, pretty, beautiful yellow orange color. Oh, wow. Wow. That is some Mango Snake adventure game. Let's actually download this and play this before we look at anything else. There are 2 mangoes that are generated over here. That is a beautiful game. That is one gorgeous snake game. Wow. That is absolutely stunning looking snake game over here. Okay, let's take a look at some stats over here. So we had 152 tokens per second of prompt processing. Very good, very decent. About 14.41 tokens per second of generation speed, which is also very good, right? Very, very potent prompt processing and the generation speeds over here. All right. Okay, so these are the 2 big models that we normally see, right? Qwen and DeepSeek R1 model. Now let's take a look at another model that I have, which is Maverick, Llama 4 Maverick model. And let's see if we can load all of it on our GPU over here. So what we'll do is we'll remove the OT parameter over there. So it actually offloads all of it on the GPU. Oh, there we go. There is already one that I have. So all we'll have to do is to remove the CUDA visible devices to 0, 1, 2, 3 and all that. Oh, but this is the Scout one. Okay, so we'll have to get the Maverick. And on the Maverick, we'll have to remove the which is actually right here. So let's just put this bash and put this over here 0, 1. Let's remove the OT. So all the layers get directly thrown on the model, and we'll actually also do Jinja, or we'll leave it for now. Okay, all right, let's just leave it for now. Okay. Oh, don't tell me if the extras is also a different name. Is it extra 1 or extra 2? Looks like it. Oh, interesting. It is loaded as backup. Wow. Why is it loaded as backup over here? Okay, I'm gonna switch some of the configurations after this video, but looks like I was playing around with something and something got messed up in terms of the mapping of these devices. The extra is supposed to be an extra, not a backup, but it is what it is right now. Okay, so we'll wait for the model to get loaded. And in this case, the whole model size is how much? Let's find out. Q4KM Control A is 242 gigs. Okay, so this won't be able to load on the GPU, but we won't stop it. We'll let it load first, and then we will get the OT experts. And we'll also have to so I'm gonna have the model load in the background over there. What I'm trying to do over here is have some of the layers offloaded to the GPU. So this would offload 10 on a better way. So this doesn't look very pretty. So let's get this format is better. Even though it's the same thing, but it just helps in writing it better, right? With this or sign, so you can very easily start chaining them together. So what we'll do is 0 to 9, and then 10 to 19. And we can actually also find out how many layers are there. It should show somewhere over here, like how many layers do we have that we can offload. That's what I'm trying to find. Okay, let's start by doing this, and then we will, so this will be 220 to 29, and then 30 to 39. Okay, let's start by doing this, and then we'll research So those are definitely way too many layers over here. So let's do 0 to 1 and 30 0 to 1. And let's see if this fits. So at least we know that we are putting more layers on it. So we have to reduce it. So we can just start by doing our own experimentation too. 48. Oh, there are 49 layers. Okay, so there are total of 49 layers, and we have offloaded 10, 11, so 22 layers. But what does it say over here? Okay, let's see. Let's see what's the total GPU utilization now. 69 and 64. So we can still do a little bit more optimization over here. Uh, let's do that before we start running the model. So I'm gonna throw 3 and 3 each, so 2 more layers, and then see how that works. Okay, let's see the GPU 78 and 73. So even because we know that our top one is the bottom and bottom one is the top, so I'm gonna do as 7 over here and 5 over here, and let's see how this does. Just slowly and slowly increasing it till I hit the max over here for us. So let's find out. I think this should be sufficient. I should be pretty close by now. Unless it crashes, and of course, then we'll have to switch it around. Yep, of course, crashed. All right, so we'll take away 4 over here and just waiting for the model to load correctly. All right, 87 and 68. So this time around, it is messing up with the GPU. All right, you win. Okay, let's see. 78 and 78. So it has put both the weights equally. And hopefully we should be good now. This is where I'll leave it alone. If it works, 86, 82, 86, 83. Why am I being so greedy? I'll leave it alone now. Okay. All right. So let's just have explain options trading. Pretty decent speed over here is what I see. Okay, all right, that was very fast. 57 tokens per second and 251 tokens of prompt eval. But there was no prompt over here, so we cannot judge that. Let us have it code our snake game too. Let's have the llama model code the snake game. And let's see how it does over here. 3, 2, 1, regenerate. And let's see the power consumption, about 575 watts. I think this is the prompt processing phase. 800 watts now. Okay, all right. It's already started coding it. Let's see. 882 watts. Pretty decent speed. Pretty decent speed. I mean, this is one of the fastest ones right now I can see. And this is Llama 4 Maverick. Wow, it's done already. Okay, let's see. 47.96 and 351 tokens per second. Very good speed, I would say. Let's ask it, can you make it more feature rich and look better? And it did not think through it. It just started coding already, which is good too, not a bad idea to sometimes have things spit out directly. But at the same time, once the model thinks, and I know the thinking isn't real thinking, it is still generating tokens at that time too. But before it actually starts outputting a human approved code, right? It does some kind of thinking over there in the background, which helps sometimes. No, it doesn't look as pretty. Llama 4. I know you did your best over here. 50 tokens. Nice. Let's see. It does not look pretty. Can you make it look modern and more appealing and gorgeous? At least it is working very fast. So vibe coding over here isn't that bad. I mean, I can vibe code with Qwen model with the amount of speed that it has. I cannot vibe code with DeepSeek. Okay, so this is weird looking. Let me just download it to give it a chance. And let's just open it in Firefox and see if it actually works. No, no llama. You have a mango snake games icon over there, but that's about it. It isn't really running. I'll give it one more chance. This does nothing. Can you fix it? And let's see. And this is where I think that the Qwen model and of course DeepSeek R1 too, they are just better coders. I mean, you may argue that this is barely any, code that you're asking it to write, but even though it is a simplistic snake game, by now these models should be smart enough to know what a snake game is. And especially if you are a Llama 4 Maverick, right? I mean, you are hundreds of billions of parameter model, mixture of experts model. You're competing with the giants over here. And um, if you cannot make a simple snake game, then yeah, not as good. But looks like it did it. It fixed whatever was wrong with it. So I'm gonna give it a pass. Of course, it is able to make a snake game that works. Let's go ahead, try a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes I forget I'm making a video while playing these vibe coded snake games. It is so addictive over here. All right, I'm just gonna continue playing this game while I look at the final statistics, which is 50 tokens again and 193 tokens per second. All right, so I'm gonna stop this video now. I would love to hear from you guys. Will you be building a rig like this? Two NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, is it worth it? What else would you like to see me doing on this? Or what else would you do on it if you have access to such a system? All right. I would love to see your comments in the comment section over here. But for now, I'll go and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.